Good evening, one and all. I am Nanda, Operations Manager of IIT Tech Meet. I would like to take this opportunity to accord a warm and cordial welcome to all the dignitaries, guests, and participants present here for the inaugural ceremony of the 10th IIT Tech Meet hosted by IIT Kharagpur. On behalf of the entire organizing team and the host institute, I would like to thank you all for joining us today. We have with us Professor Dhrubajyoti Sen, Dean Student Affairs, IIT Kharagpur, Professor Ajay Kumar Singh, President, Technology Students Gymkhana, IIT Kharagpur, Mr. Vinod Mathur, Vice President, Product Management, Blue Yonder, and finally, Mr. Ricardo Kiego Andrade, Software Engineering Manager, Mercari Incorporate. I would like to invite Mr. Professor Dhrubajyoti Sen, Dean Student Affairs, to officially welcome all the dignitaries and everyone present here. Sir, please.
Yeah, okay. Thank you, Nanda, for giving a kind introduction. And welcome to all the dignitaries, the speakers who have been invited. Nanda has just mentioned each one of them. And the organizers, the hosts, and all those in charge of conducting this event and the participants. So it's really a wonderful thing that, to see that this event being conducted with all enthusiasm despite means not yet normal situations around. So we are actually inching towards, but still not yet full normal. So nevertheless, so it's nice to see the enthusiasm of the organizers of this technique and the participants and our speakers have very kindly given their time to join this meet. So I wish a very successful event. I believe this will go on for another couple of days probably. And yeah, so nice to see a good competition and good outcome, and all the participants would be excited to take part in this event. So that's all from my side, and all the best to everyone. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Now I would like to request Professor Ajay Kumar Singh, President, Technology Students Gymkhana, to address the gathering. Sir, please. Professor Ajay is facing connectivity issues, so I would like to call upon Mr. Vinod Mathur, Vice President, Product Management, Blue Yonder, to share a few words of encouragement. Sir.
Yeah, definitely. Good evening, everyone. Are you able to hear and see me?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. We
Okay.
can.
All right. So it's great to see this enthusiasm in all our the tra- the team. I mean, the students who are going to graduate soon out of the premier institutes of the country. Right? So incidentally, I also happen to be an alumnus of IIT Bombay, but maybe the previous, I would say, like many generations prior. So I graduated in '96. Then I went on to do my MBA from IIM Ahmedabad. And since then, I have been in this space of supply chain I joined I2 Technologies in those days, which now over a period of time, after multiple acquisitions, it is now Blue Yonder. It's a pioneer in the supply chain management space. It has been, uh, I would say, today more than ever, after all the disruptions we have seen, supply chain has become like a hot topic with so many disruptions that have happened in the last 2 years. Everybody now knows what supply chain is and how critical that is to a business. So as part of that, we also kind of shared a couple of problem statements for the tech meet, and we have seen the submissions coming in very enthused by the response, especially on the sustainability topic. We had almost, I think, 18, 19 teams that have submitted. We are in the process of going through all those, and we are looking forward to the in-person presentations that the teams would be doing tomorrow. It's and the topic was also good. It's close to all of us and then the newer generation definitely aligns with it much more in terms of sustainability So it's technology is one aspect, but how do we make things sustainable is the question that we often get asked when you're running a business, when you are supporting businesses through a tech layer, right? So bringing these two aspects together. So as students of technology institutes, as we graduate out of these premier institutes, we have to carry this message in our career, in our journey after the education also, that it's not just application of the technology for the benefit of the organization that we are working for, but also basically understanding what is the impact on the larger ecosystem from the environment perspective, from the larger social perspective, right? So it's technology is not just it should not just get limited uh, to one business and making sure that business profits, but it has to be an equitable uh, benefit for the larger ecosystem. So that is what I would encourage all of us, all the students, all the participants here to keep this message in the background. And with I remember in our days when I was doing my BTech at Bombay, getting access to the computer lab was was itself a challenge. I mean, forget about a computer itself. I mean, you had to book appointments to just get a 1 hour slot to write one program for like 1 hour. I mean, that's all in the whole week. You got just two slots to even touch a computer. Today, it is not the same, right? And what that has meant is the pace of innovation, the pace of technology-led innovations has increased manifold. Today, with the kind of technology, with the kind of hardware that we have access to in in our mobile phone itself, right? Such powerful hardware which exists. Our laptops, our computers have become so powerful. Access to data, access to algorithms, prepackaged libraries out there. It is it is really amazing. I mean, the kind of the way the whole technology ecosystem has evolved, especially on the software side. Now, what that means is also the pace, as I was saying, the pace of innovation has changed completely. Today, I don't need to wait to get a job in a technology sector to do an innovation. I can innovate sitting in my house. I can innovate wherever I am, right? And in the last few years, we have seen the whole startup culture that has really taken wings in India. There is so much that we can do, and that is what I believe the ecosystem in India and around is also looking for from students of premier institutes of the country, right? That how can we actually innovate, right? How can we come up with solutions to newer challenges or old challenges with newer technologies that may be out there, right? So that is what I would really encourage all of you to look into, to work on, right? And that's where the other problem statement that we also positioned, that we posted, was around the drone-based route optimization, right? So these are newer things. In the past, we had uh, somebody coming on a two-wheeler or on a four-wheeler, I mean, coming and delivering things to your homes. But soon in the future, you would actually have drones coming and doing your deliveries. Now, what does it mean from an optimization perspective? It's not the same way I can optimize drones as I would optimize, say, trucks or two-wheelers or cars and all of that, right? So these kind of so we have to look out. Don't wait for somebody to give you a challenge to work on or to solve. There is enough out there, enough I would say problem statements in that sense, for the lack of better word, which need to be solved. And we now have access to technology. We have access to an ecosystem which promotes innovation, right? So go out and do something creative, do something innovative, right? Definitely, I mean, I'm passionate about the supply chain space. We have as a business, we have transformed. uh, i I personally, if I look at my 23, 24 years of journey with the company, with in this domain of supply chain, it has changed. What supply chain meant 20 years back is not the same as it is now, right? I mean, today disruptions have become uh, like a daily, or a, if not daily, it's like a monthly phenomena, right? Every month there is some new disruption which comes up, as compared to 20 years back, where I could have just sat back and said, okay, let me just keep optimizing the cost, right? Because if products are not available, customers will wait. I tell them, okay, I can say you wait for a week and I will get you what you need. They were more receptive to waiting for some period of time. Today, it is not the same. The expectations have changed. The whole We are talking about 10-minute delivery and all that, right? I mean, you might have read in the news recently, and people also starting to question. I mean, are we going over the board, right, with these expectations? Right? So that's where I would leave all of you with that thought. Uh, Keep innovation at the center of your work, which you do, either as part of a corporate sector, as part of continuing research in the academia, or on your own if you are starting up on some company of your own. Look at how can you disrupt, how can you make do things differently. You don't need to be bogged down by this is how people have done and hence I have to continue doing it the same way, right? You have the power, you have the ecosystem which will support if you want to do things differently. So don't hesitate, right? Try something different if you have to, right? And look out for spaces like supply chain, or it could be other fields, right, where these innovations can be applied quickly. It can give benefit to the organizations that you are working with. And at the same time, as I said in the beginning, keep sustainability as one of the things in the back of your mind. Like the example I was sharing, that now there was a big backlash, right? I mean, when one of the companies said that I'm going to offer 10-minute delivery. So now people are questioning. I mean, it's good to say that I'll get you grocery in 10 minutes to your doorstep. But as you start thinking about, okay, how does this work? What does it mean for people working in the supply chain, right? What is the kind of pressure it puts on uh, the the teams that are packing things for you, the teams that are the people who are delivering things for you, and what is the kind of pressure it is creating for them, and is it really worth it, right? So that this decade, I would say, is going to be around not just the technology innovation, but also this aspect of, are we doing the right things, right? Are we really focused on the right? I mean, it's okay. If I can wait for a pizza for 40 minutes, I can wait for the grocery also for 40 minutes or 1 hour. It is okay. I don't really need that grocery in 10 minutes at my doorstep, right? So are we unnecessarily creating more pressure in the ecosystem around us? So that is what we are seeing as a big change. And this change is powered by the new generation, like all of you, right, who are questioning, right, that yes, I want to do things fast, but are we really doing the right thing? I mean, are we really trying to go too fast? Right? And maybe it is time to just slow down a bit and ease the pressure a little bit in the system. I mean, we don't really need people fighting and struggling on the roads just so that you can get your grocery in 10 minutes to your doorstep. Right? It's okay. I mean, take it easy. Don't be rash on the road. Take 30 minutes. Come safely to my place. Right. So that's the kind of thought process all of us as consumers also will end up driving. Right? So that's the reason I wanted to share some of these thoughts on where are we going with technology in general, with innovation, and as the new generation is starting to question some of the established practices, both as technology enthusiasts, as technology experts, as well as consumers, because all of us are also consumers at the end of the day, right? So are we just creating unnecessary complications ourselves? I mean, right? Because I'm insisting on something to be done fast, and then I create a problem, and then I'm trying to use technology to solve the same problem. Right? Is that cycle really required? Right? Or can we just handle things differently? So keep some of these points in mind. pick your area of interest, pick whatever you are passionate about, focus on that. All of you are from tech premier institutes. I mean, it's not easy to get into any of the IITs, and it's a privilege to actually be associated with an event like this, right, where all the IITs are coming together, trying to look at how can we leverage technology to improve things, to make things better around us. So take this innovation momentum that you have as part of this technology meet, take it forward even after you graduate, and I'm sure all of you will do extremely well in your own careers, and as you become experts in your domain, continue to guide and mentor your next generation. So that's all I would want to share, and wishing all of you the very best for this event. And as everyone says, right, may the best team win. So that definitely is there, and I'm looking forward to interacting with some of the participants in the sessions tomorrow and day after in the coming days. All the best to all of you. Thank you.
Thank you so much, sir. That was certainly very enlightening and encouraging. So, next we have Mr. Ricardo. I call upon Mr. Ricardo to take the floor. Sir, please. Hello, sir. Sure, sir. One second. We already have given you the presenter, right, sir? Let me check.
I think someone has to share the presenter rights with.
Yes, sir. We're doing that. Please wait for 5 minutes, sir. Yes, sir.
Now,
We've shared the presenter, right, sir?
okay. Thank you very much. Do you see me?
Yes, sir. We can hear
All
you and see
right.
you.
Okay. Well, it's a great honor to be here. I'm really grateful for being able to join this event. And considering the IIT tradition and professionals I've met through my career, I'm sure that I'm talking to some of the brightest minds in the world. So I'm really grateful for being here today. And I'm here to talk about Mercari Marketplace, where I am now in the role of engineering manager. Actually, I am a software engineer who has this role of engineering manager currently at Mercari. Mercari is a Japanese company. And yes, as I mentioned, everyone there is software engineer, and we have a dynamic structure. So today I'll talk a little bit about the company, but also maybe few things on my personal perspective on software engineering in general. I hope you enjoy. And I actually, from what I have seen so far, I am also enjoying the event. So very interesting topics already. Well, I mentioned Mercari has this dynamic structure. We can see engineering managers turning back to individual contributors, for instance. And also there are technical product managers and the usual roles in any company, modern company. I did not mention the size of the company. We are now scaling up. Actually, Mercari is the first unicorn in Japan. which is quite unusual, right? Sometimes we think of Japan because of Nintendo and other hardware companies, Sony and all. They should have lots of unicorns, but actually the Japanese unicorns started recently, let's say. For Mercari, for instance, was founded in 2013, and it just became this status of a really big company recently, I think around 2018. And why is that? So I like to try to understand this. And to some extent, it is about Conway's law. Maybe some of you already know the Conway's law. We have software that sometimes, or any technology product in general, sometimes that reflects the organization or the communication structure in the organization. And it's at least from inside, and I'm sharing a little bit inside information here, I see a transformation happening in the company. And this is a very positive transformation. I am originally from Brazil, and I have also lived in Germany. And I was exposed to different perspectives on software engineering, if we can say that. But actually, I think the world is kind of reaching a common understanding on some of the challenges that we face, especially with so many scalability challenges that we face recently, right? We have some successful businesses that must scale. And from what I see in this story at Mercari, we started with a monolith, PHP, just like many startups in the world. And we have been evolving to microservices structure. And I want to highlight this evolving, if that can be the right word. Actually, thinking back a little bit, the Conway's law, it is from the 60s. So actually one of the most fruitful times for computer science. And that's when they really realized that the software has this, or any technology project really reflects this communication structure. And that's because they were feeling limited already. By that time, that's when people started to mention software crisis. So already by the end of the 60s, they had difficulties hiring good professionals, right? So good professionals like you, it's not easy to find in the world. It was at that time, Conway, I'm not sure if it was, I think it was in the US, right? Anyway, there was a study already starting at that time, and later on that evolved to this chaos report. And you see a real trend, very old trend, that only a small part of projects really get successfully finished. And lots of others have challenges or fail. And so it means for many decades, we have been seeing this difficulty to scale up businesses, right? Not only in Japan or Brazil or in India, everywhere. So, and it is pretty much related, in my opinion, to the minds, to the people who make software. And this observation, we call it a law, right? But it's mainly an adage. This observation that the communication structure has a big impact to the software engineering. This is very powerful. As a manager, at least, I see it as something very important to be aware of. And for similar reasons, you see organizations like Google or Spotify, and actually Google especially, they have released a very interesting book on software engineering. And it has this name, I think, Software Engineering. And they mention as pillars for everything that we do, like 3 pillars of social interaction, which are humility in the first place, and then respect and trust. So what I'm trying to say today is that it is really about human interaction. And then everything else will be as a consequence. The tools we use, the way we build software are consequences. And yes, I am very proud to be part of a company that have values that are quite aligned to that. Our values are have slightly different words. We call it be bold, all for one, and be a pro, right? And yesterday there was even a speech about one of the oldest contributors, or a CTO, who worked for the company in the US and then in Japan, and he is in a new company now, building new software for the company. And I see those values really present in these people, because yeah, when we need to rewrite the software, we really do it. And yeah, we build a stack that scales, right? And this is only possible because we hire the good people who embody those values, right? And yes, I think Mercari has become this huge success in Japan, because they really figured out that in order to scale, you must embrace diversity. When I joined the company, I asked the next CTO at that time, what is important for the company? And actually, I remember it very clearly when he said, two things only right now are my priority. And first one is we need problem solvers, not factory workers, let's say, in that sense, problem solvers, right? And I think all of you here, you're problem solvers for sure. We have even created a problem statement, and there was a lot of engagement, and I'm really glad to see that. And the next thing is diversity and inclusion, especially inclusion part. Because Mercari, interesting, you see, I'm not Japanese, and Mercari already has a lot of diversity. And also that reflects again to the software. We have hundreds of microservices and teams, and we are scaling. But we must think of inclusion in that sense of feeling everyone is really part of, as a whole of the Mercari group. And there are challenges, and there are mainly communication challenges. For instance, language. We still have some Japanese documentation, and this is an interesting part of a Japanese culture in general. If you happen to see mangas, animes, you see they really value their tradition, while at the same time they embrace the new, especially technology. And interesting that you see Japanese documentation will always be there. So it's a decision. We will always have that. But we have translators. We have a team specialized in simultaneous translation for some big meetings. But also we always have documentation in English available and all. But the thing is, they like to keep the good things that they have created. Of course, source code is all in English, and documentation as well for the code. But some things they produce, they prefer to keep the initial sense of the creation. So it's interesting. You see the originals. I don't speak Japanese yet. I hope to learn. But yeah, from what I have studied so far, I think every culture has this. When you have this original idea or original intention, and you try to translate it, sometimes you lose a bit of the content, right? And we as a whole company, we try to preserve these basic or most important things that we find necessary for proceeding. And yeah, but let's talk a little bit of how it evolved. Before I do that first, the PHP code, just to make the transition, this PHP code, it is still there. We still have our first API, of course, has transformed a lot, right? We adopted the strategy of the mothership and satellites, right? So we have this big part yet with some code that is running very stable, but new features we have been evolving in different microservices. And I want to talk about these microservices, just in case you're curious. Maybe you will be probably there's nothing new for you, but I just want to highlight a few aspects. We use, of course, CI/CD everywhere with the Spinnaker tool in this case. And we have observability. We have a specialized SRE team. So this site reliability engineering team, they are always aware of everything that is running. And that is quite helpful for the team that I'm managing currently. And we have some IIT members there. We really have the support of we have a good tooling and teams that support our development. I always highlight this, that it's not about the tool only, but really having this integrated process to be able to deploy continuously. It requires not only the tools, but these people. And we have a strong culture of code review and design upfront. And yeah, so with tools like Datadog and BigQuery and all, we are able to trace issues very early, and we discuss them openly. We also use Slack in our daily communication. So everything, we link a lot of Slack conversations and everything. So everyone is able to join channels, public. The communication is open in general. Yeah, so these are just examples to give an impression of what I am saying. We are scaling up, not only because we chose some tools or some specific software architecture, but because the company decided as a company to scale up, to embrace different ways of thinking, to have teams in different parts of the world. And I'm not sure if it is completely official, but me and some colleagues have already been disclosing some information that we are actually opening an engineering office in India this year. That's why it's especially interesting moment to be talking to you today. So yeah, so our engineering as a whole, our engineering culture is evolving in that sense of really being able to scale up. That is, in my opinion, the only way to make software scale up as well, right? So we have millions of requests per second, and our microservices handle that. It is a great place to make big impact with code optimizations, with good ideas. So if you like scalability, as I do, yes, it is a great place to work. And we, yeah, I was first afraid of maybe Japanese culture. We've heard of infamous things like working to death or things like that. But definitely, this is not the case in this company. We really have this, what I was saying at the beginning, this common sense already in the world that if we want to build software at scale, we need some specific culture. And I think this culture is really based on humility, respect, trust. And we have our own values of being bold, all for one, right, and be a pro. But this is all human values, right? And I believe, I am proud to say I am in a company that values that a lot. And I even dare to say the results we have so far are because of this culture. I think the founders, people who have joined the company, we are building a culture that scales up, right? And well, for you who might be deciding your careers, I must say, I'm not telling you to join Mercari. I'm just giving you one example of a company where these values are present. And I am really glad to say that nowadays, many companies have that. And now it is a matter of choosing the company that you identify yourself with. So the previous speech, so it was mentioned already that it is very important that you find what motivates you and find the right reason for doing what you're doing. And I strongly believe in that. And nowadays we have lots of options, not only restricted by borders or anything else, almost no restrictions. So if you really have heart for doing something, if you really feel like, yeah, this is what I want to do, like, oh, I love scalability, I love Japan, maybe you want Mercari, maybe you want something else, there are many alternatives. But be aware, I think this is my message today for you, be aware of the human aspect. So don't choose because of some specific programming language or software architecture. Please choose by a mission or the reason why you're doing that software, or at least, and this is not bad, at least to choose with whom you want to work with. I have many times chosen to work for a company because I had friends there. And actually, I incentivize people. I really like that we work with friends. So that is a good reason, okay? With friends, with people we like to work with, we can build great software. So I think that's it for today. And yeah, if some of you want to see Mercari, please get in touch.
Thank you, sir. That was a very informative interaction. I'm sure all of us present here were able to learn quite a lot. And many of us here would want to be part of the scaling up process you mentioned. Thank you so much. As you can see, Professor Ajay Kumar Singh is back with us here in the meet. Sir, I would like to request you to address the gathering, sir. Sir, please.
So I'm audible.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. I can hear you, sir.
Okay, so my video is frozen. I think it appears.
Yes, sir.
Okay, this is a technological problem, so that we need to solve it here itself. Uh, I'm sorry for being late due to technological issues. I could not join through this tab or through the PC uh, because of the browser problem or the version which is not compatible with this AirMeet platform. Okay, on behalf of Technology Student Gymkhana, which is a center of extracurricular activities of IIT Kharagpur, and on behalf of IIT Kharagpur, I welcome all the students and participants and the guests from India and outside to this 10th editions of Inter-IIT Tech Meet at IIT Kharagpur. Well, last 2 years have been very challenging for all of us. We have seen lockdown for several of months, followed by the second wave or third waves, and the devastating second wave is what, I mean, still we remember that. And we don't know whether we have crossed the pandemic or we are still going through that phase. But slowly we have learned from the pandemic, and in one direction we have made a lot of progress, that is the technology. And be the development of vaccine or the online teaching platform or organizing Inter-IIT Tech Meet through this online platform. These are the new development for all of us. Our lifestyle has also changed dramatically, I can see that. And the behavior of people, I mean, that also we need to analyze it after the pandemic once we are together on the campus. So it's a very different world, and there are different challenges, and these challenges, I mean, every country is facing. India is also not away from that. And today we are looking at the younger generation from IITs and NITs to solve such problems we are facing either in the industry or in the society. There are several different type of problems we need to find out, and we are in India or the whole world is looking at all of you. I mean, this theme of 10th edition of Inter-IIT Tech Meet is again focused on the post-pandemic era. The new world, what we see now, that is what we are going to discuss in this Inter-IIT Tech Meet edition. You know that when in last 1 year, India has added nearly 90 unicorns, which are mostly from the soil of India. So we can see that a lot of technological development has come up, starting from a startup to the industry to unicorn. Okay, so I hope for a healthy competition. I can see that there are 14 problems which has been assigned in this Inter-IIT Tech Meet. There are 4 high prep events which requires higher effort. There are 4 mid prep events, so medium efforts are required, and there are 6 low prep events are there. In total, there are 20 IIT participating into this competition. I'm sure that the competition is going to be very tough, and we are going to also find out the solutions for the problems which are listed here. It's glad to thank the IIT KGP team for organizing the event despite of all odds. I appreciate their hard work and efforts they have put in during the last 2 months in organizing this event. I also acknowledge support received from various sections and departments of IIT Kharagpur. I also thank administration for being with us. It's a great moment for all of us. And once again, I welcome all of you to this event, and this I hope the competition is going to be a quite pleasant one. Thank you.
Thank you so much, sir, for your words of encouragement. And we sure hope to resolve the technical issues by the closing ceremony. Now we have Arun Nair to facilitate the chit picking process, which will decide the ordering of the teams for all the upcoming events. So over to Arun.
Okay. Hello. Uh, am I audible? I hope I am audible. So, hello everyone. So, as Nanda said, I am Arun. I'm an associate manager from the operations team in IIT TechMeet 10.0. So now we'll be conducting the chit picking, or rather slot distribution round. Let me present my screen. Uh, so there is some issue. Please give me 2 minutes to figure it out. Sorry for the delay. Sorry for the delay. Let's start. I hope my screen is visible. Yeah, so we'll be starting off with the high prep event. So in this overall, we have 12 events which are considered for the general championship, and out of that, 2 low prep events: Mercari's large scale system design hackathon and Blue Yonder's next gen optimized delivery system don't have presentation rounds. So we'll first start off with Bosch's high prep event. I'll be explaining the process as we move. So the first one, I'll take it a bit slow so that all the teams can follow. Also, just notifying this, even if you miss out on the entire process, the contingent leaders will be notified about the slots via mail, so they can share it with the appropriate teams. So there is no issue if you are missing out on this. We'll definitely share everything later, but you're free to note the process as well. So let's start. So first, we have three columns here, and this process is similar for all the things. So we have three columns. First is the team ID, mostly including the teams that have either submitted for the particular problem statement, or are shortlisted in some cases for that particular problem statement. And then we have the random value column where we'll generate random values, and then finally the order column where the order will be displayed according to the random values generated. And then we have the finalized order where we'll just copy paste this thing, because after every click the order changes. I mean, the random value is generated again, right? So we'll just copy paste the entire thing here so that it stays solid, right? So let's start. I'll So this is the command I'm giving on the Excel sheet. Sorry. Mm, yeah, I'll do it again. I'll then drag it till the teams that are there, and then here I'll give the command rank this, and then to take unique values I'll give. So this is this column. This cell is C6, right, till C19, right? So, I mean, after every click, the order changes, so I can't help it. I'll drag it and I'll drop it here. So this is the order we have for Bosch HiPrep. The team ID 1 will go 7th, team ID 2 will go first, team ID 3 will go 12th, and so on. So now I'll just copy the entire thing. Okay, just copy the entire thing and paste the values so that this will not change even if this changes later on. This has already changed, if you can see. I've saved the thing now, and now we'll proceed to Blue Yonder. So in Blue Yonder, we have three panels who have specifically checked the presentations for these specific teams. So the panel distribution, according to the panel distribution only, we'll have the order. So in panel 1, we have teams from 1 to 6, and then in panel 2, we have teams from 10 to 13. 12 is not there. And in panel 3, we have teams from 14 to 21, right? So again, the same thing goes here as well. RAND, drag and drop. I'll give the random values first, just so that it becomes easier for me. Uh, yeah, and then the order again, the same thing. Rank this column with respect to this column, then the $sign. We have C6, C$6 to C11, right? So, so yeah, we have that here, and then the same process again. $13 to Yeah, so I'll just drag and drop here. So the teams can very well see that the order being given is unique and it is not being repeated as well. Again, going here. Yeah. So this took a bit of time because we had different panels. I'll just copy paste the entire thing here. Copy, uh, paste. Yeah. So this is the order for Blue Yonder. I've saved the file. Proceeding to Silicon Labs HyperRep event. And I'm not explaining for each event, but this is the process. Yeah. So we are done with this. Copying here, pasting here. So then we have digital alpha. Okay. I'm really sorry. I should have dropped till here. Yeah. So this dollar C5. Sorry. Dollar 20. We have 16 teams, so accordingly, this is the order. Pasted, saved, proceeding to ISRO. We have again 16 teams for ISRO. I think this would be okay. I hope the process is very transparent and clear to all the participants. Sorry. Yeah. Pasted, saved, proceeding to the live testing round for DRDO. We have 10 teams for this, so accordingly, giving the random value. So this order is being decided according to the values in this random value column. Pasting, saved, going to the presentation round for the audio. Again, we have 10 teams. Team, that's done. saved. Going to the Bosch mid-trip thing. We have 18 teams for this. Done. Okay, there is some issue. Okay, I should have written 22 here. My bad. Yeah, no, that's sorted. Copying here and pasting it here. Saved. Going to Mudrex presentation round. We have 14 teams who have given the submissions. Accordingly, we have the order as well. And this policy $5 to policy $18. Saving. Going to Jailer loop rep. So Jailer loop rep had some shortlisting. So top 16s were shortlisted. So for them, the presentation order is being decided. Rank this. Uh, Sorry for any disturbance in the background. So the shortlisted teams for geometry are these. So okay, my bad. Only top 10 teams are there. Randomizing it. Ranking it. So geometry is the last one we have. Okay, again. My bad, it should have been 14. Now, okay, I should have pasted the cells value. Yep, I think we are done and good to go. I'll just go through. I'll just go through all the teams again. This is the Bosch High Prep. This is for Blue Yonder High Prep, Silicon Labs High Prep, Digital Alpha High Prep, ISRO Mid Prep, DRDO Live Testing, DRDO Mid Prep, Bosch Mid Prep, Mudrex Mid Prep, JLR Low Prep, and Geometry Low Prep. Okay. So I just noticed that 3 came twice. Don't know how it happened, but then this order doesn't have that thing, right? I'll just copy paste it again. Okay. Uh, there is some technical glitch that's happening. Let's check for the other events as well. Okay, just give me a minute to figure it out.
We'll figure out the technical issue. Meanwhile, I'd like to inform all the teams that the contingent of IIT Dhanbad have their examinations scheduled on 26 and 27 March. So we have allotted two fixed time slots for the team, which is 10 a.m. to 11 a.m. and 4 p.m. to 5 p.m. The ordering will remain the same for the rest of the teams, and the timings of the presentations will be shifted accordingly. And the teams will be intimated about the timings well in advance. Please wait for a few minutes while the issue with the auditing is being fixed.
Uh, so sorry for that. I'll present my screen once again. There was some issue with the geometry thing. So sharing my screen again. I hope my screen is visible. Uh, yeah, so here we are with geometry. There is some issue in this. I have filled in the values again. I'll fill it again. Ranking this uh, $K $5 $K what is it 14. Yeah. Yeah, so this doesn't have any issue. I don't know why the other one was showing some trouble. This is the final order for geometry. Okay, my bad. uh, Copying it again and pasting it as values. So thank you everyone. We are done with the slot picking process. Sorry, chat picking process. Thank you for uh, viewing this entire thing. Yeah. Over to Nanda again.
Thank you, Arun. I hope this slot distribution process is now clear to everyone. And we'll be intimating the slots prior to the events as well. Finally, on behalf of the organizing committee, I would like to extend my heartfelt gratitude to our esteemed guests. Sincere thanks to the captains and vice captains of all the participating contingents. And thank you for all your patience. I wish you all a very good evening and all the very best for the upcoming events. Thank you all. Also, in case you have any queries, feel free to reach out to us. Thank you.